there! I'm Squire Callahan Ridgeborn, almost a Battlemaster, definitely a wizard, and tonight I'm joined by Talcus Pyre, a Paragon Assassin. Talcus, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could be on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
How long have you been playing Amtgard for?
About 14 years, and kind of seriously for the last 7 or so.
Okay. Have you been playing Assassin that entire time, or did you start with something else?
I started with Assassin, dabbled in a couple others, tried doing Scout a little bit, just so I can kind of get the feel for how it feels to be a anti-assassin.
Okay. Why did you choose Assassin when you first started out?
It just felt, I don't know, just kind of called to me a little bit. Out of all the ones, it seemed to be not essentially beginner friendly, but a bit of a challenge to get it started.
Okay. What made you stick with it? What made you fall in love with the Assassin class?
I started in V7, so by the time I got to level 6, you were able to use a shield. But by the time I got to use a shield, V8 came out, so I didn't get to use a shield. I was really looking forward to using Assassin with a shield, but didn't pan out. It just felt really nice, you being able to use a longsword with poison weapon.
Okay. Good combo there. So tell me about your Paragon journey. When did you get your Paragon Assassin?
I got my Paragon a couple of years ago. It was definitely a long journey for it.
How long were you playing at the kingdom level to get the attention to be a Paragon Assassin?
Took me a bit. It took me a bit to really get my name out there and for people to recognize me as an actual threat when I joined the field.
Mm-hmm. What kind of assassin are you? There's a bunch of different kinds of that. You could be bow or Florentine or single short. What kind of assassin do you play?
I main the Florentine style assassin.
Okay. Are you doing double longs or double shorts?
Double shorts.
Okay.
Double shorts, or I'll go single short, single long.
Oh, okay. When you do the single short, single long, what's the benefit of that, I guess?
You get about to have a little bit more reach. People really focus on that long sword a lot more than they do the short, so I can kind of feint with the long sword and then close in really good with the short.
Oh, okay. So they get,
or if they have an unarmored leg, mm-hmm. I can take that really fast and just kind of leg them and leave them.
All right.
And then just coup de grace them.
So the longsword gives you some functionality of they're focusing in on the longsword, thinking that's the big threat, and then you surprise with the short sword.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. I hadn't thought about comboing like that. I've done a lot of flow longs and some flow short. Mixing and match and just feels suboptimal. Which hand do you do? Are you primary long or primary short when you do that?
Primary long.
Okay.
I like to make sure that I don't accidentally hit someone in the face or have some sort of accident with it. I like to make sure that my main hand is the kind of the weird weapon.
Okay. What do you think the minimum gear required to successfully play Assassin looks like?
I would say at the very least 1 point. Okay. 1 point of armor, just so you have that buffer of, if you get into a skirmish, you have not just your abilities to rely on to get out of there, but also the point of armor to give you that moment of reprieve.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. What do you think about the new archetypes for Assassin?
They're definitely interesting. I've not played with the archetypes very much. I normally just kind of play the vanilla assassin. That's kind of how, that's how I learned V8 assassin was the vanilla V9. So that's just what I go with.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with the ruffian or the spy. I think spy is very interesting when you don't get armor for it. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting to me.
I kind of feel like the spy was built for bow assassin. Not getting the armor, you get to recharge your insubstantials. It feels like it's built for using your blinks and teleports to recover arrows, and then the shadow steps to keep out of melee.
I'd say bows and throwies, but yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it was a boon to those playstyles specifically. The ruffian, like looking at that, so ruffian gives you every time you get a kill with a throwy, you get back your coup de grace, which is a kind of janky way of getting infinite coup de grace if you can do a lot of throwies. Do you know Kage out of Elk Glen?
I know of him. It's been a minute since I've interacted with Kage.
He's got a bunch of really small, like, light thrown that are like, I don't know how to describe the shape. They're squares with like a little loop on them, and he can flick them really, really well. And he's been playing that to good effect.
Is he the one that has the green throwies?
Yeah, the green ones. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So
he's pretty lethal with those.
Yeah, like shockingly accurate at a decent range with them. And I've seen people try to make Throwy Assassin really work, and he's one of the few that I've seen make it work really well.
Have you seen Lao Tzu with his assassin?
I can't say that I have, no.
He'll take like a backpack full of nothing but small throwaways and just take that on the field.
Is he the guy that wears the backpack backwards so it's on his front?
He does that, and so does Smurf when he plays, I believe, Elemental Barrage Wizard.
I think I've seen the assassin that does the backpack. I've definitely seen Smurf play the Elemental Barrage, but I think I've seen the guy you're talking about then. Okay, cool. Is there any part of Assassin that's not particularly useful?
Unless you have really good stick, I would say frontline assassin isn't very viable.
Okay.
Unless you have a good stick and the 2 points of armor to really make it work with a couple enchantments. That, and I haven't played bow assassin much, so I can't really say about that. That'd be one of my hindrances trying to play bow assassin.
Okay. Your default when you're going into just any battle game, you're gonna bring which one of the three Florentines that we've discussed are you bringing into a generic kingdom game, for example?
Generic would probably just be 2 single shorts.
Okay. Is there anything that would make you switch that up and go to the double long or the long short? Like on a gameplay, or is it just based on how you're feeling that day?
Based on how I'm feeling. It's a 50-50 with the long sword and the short. I've never tried to do 2 longs because I don't like how... just don't like the feel of it. I like to have a small in case I have to get up close.
Okay. Are you using max longs then?
Close to max long, yeah.
All right. What is the best ability that Assassin gets?
I would have to say coup de grace. Just because you can leg someone, and when they're getting healed by a healer, it doesn't matter. It goes through that heal and they're dead.
How often are you able to pull that off?
Seldomly. Okay. I like to use it a lot, especially if there is a heavily armored individual. Mm-hmm. And someone's able to leg them, or a wizard wounding.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm playing a magic class, how can I defeat an assassin?
Ooh. If you can get off your incants really fast before they really notice and take a chance to go in sub is a good way to do it. I would have to say a spell ball works best.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Playing a lot of in sub chicken with different verbals then.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. What if I'm a melee fighter? What can I do about assassins as a melee fighter?
I would say the best thing to combat, an assassin will obviously be scout because they have tracking. But sometimes, like I myself get tunnel visioned and don't use my abilities like I should. So if you can get 1v1 with an assassin and kind of keep them from using their abilities or running away, helps a lot.
Okay. What if I'm a archer? If I'm doing some sort of bow thing, what should I be on the lookout for assassins? How can I defeat an assassin?
Have to be careful because they're easy to flank. They flank pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing assassin, that's going to be a main thing to do. Is you're trying to get behind enemy lines.
Okay.
Just make sure you have make sure you're a good shot with a bow. That's all I can really say about that.
All right. So, looking at assassin, how can other classes best team up with assassin?
Assassin and bard goes pretty well.
How does bard support assassin specifically?
They would recharge their poison.
Okay. Are there any
So
other
that way
classes that pair up really well?
I would like to say wizard, but wizard can kind of be kind of squishy. And I mean, obviously, as you're a wizard, you're going to be kind of focusing on yourself, and you could wound individuals, and the assassin could coup de grace them.
Okay.
Assassin also has the hold person, which is kind of comes in clutch sometimes. So a pole user could really take advantage of that.
Can you share with us some of your specific tactics and your targets? How are you choosing who you're going to go after as an assassin?
I go after the heavily armored individuals because those are the big threats. They have armor. They don't really have to worry too much about worry too much about other individuals. Unless someone has armor breaking, I think barbarians have that. And I also focus the archers because that's the other main headache of basically everyone.
Okay. Are you just squaring up with them, or are you trying to sneak up on them?
I normally try to sneak up on them.
All right. How do you vanish and sneak up on someone during a battle game? What are some of the ways you do that?
It's a little funny. I normally walk. If you see someone walking, you don't really pay much attention to them in this game, from what I've noticed. Unless you're specifically looking for those that are flanking out. Like every once in a while, someone will notice that I'm doing it, but more often than not, people will ignore me. I don't know if they think I'm dead or what, but if you see someone walking, you tend to ignore them.
Right. Okay. So just sort of casually gray manning your way through the enemy line to do some flanking and go after the archers and the armored folk.
Yes.
Okay. What advice would you give someone who's just starting out as an assassin?
Really learn your basics for your footwork and your fighting styles. Really go over your basics because that's going to help you get better at your stick game. Get at least 1 point of armor. That'll help you survive a lot. If you can get 2 points, that's money.
All right.
And then don't be afraid to get throwies. Don't be afraid to make some throwies. Those will come in clutch a lot.
How many throwies are you taking with you onto your average battle game?
I take no throwies.
Oh, okay.
I know some people like Lao Tzu that he will take a whole backpack. Some people will use heavy throwies. I just never use the throwies myself.
All right.
And I feel like that's a bit of a crutch in my own self, or I say, hey, go take throwies, but I don't take throwies. It's a bit of do as I say, not as I do moment.
Okay. What is something you look for in a potential Paragon?
Do they know their class well? Do they get their enchantments? If they are getting enchanted by, say, a wizard or a druid, are they realizing it? Are they remembering it? And just really looking for what kind of play style they do. If they do the sneaky, or if they do the flanking, trying to take out certain people.
Okay. Have you ever taken an apprentice as a Paragon?
I have not.
Is that something you see yourself doing in the future?
I would definitely do that in a heartbeat if anyone was ever wanting to get more knowledge on being an assassin.
Okay. So when you are at events, are you okay with people coming up and asking you questions, talking shop about assassin?
Absolutely.
Do you have any final advice or recommendations or comments that you want to share with all the assassins out there?
At the end of the day, it's a game. Some people take it way too seriously. Just remember, it's a game. Have fun. That's the main point of it. You're supposed to have fun.
All right.
Also, if you're wanting to be a better Paragon Assassin, don't be afraid to participate in the Assassin games whenever they show up.
Could you tell us a bit about the Assassin games?
So the Assassin games happen every once in a while. They were a big thing during Supreme Kai, their reign. Basically, you would have specific people you would target that would agree to be targets, or you wanted to be the assassin, and you would do your best to take them out, whether it's on the field or off the field. And you would report back saying and letting them know that you were successful in getting the target.
Okay.
The more people you got under your list, the higher points you got.
Thank you, Talcus, for being here this evening and coming on the show. It's always great to have assassins and just Paragons in general reaching out. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please comment below if you have any questions for Talcus here. I'm sure he is eager to answer any questions that come in. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.